Before the break, Lisa spoke with Robin Finley of the Community Players of Salisbury about the upcoming play Love, Loss, and What I Wore. I'm on the Mid-South audio stage with Judy Hearn to get a preview. Ladies, thank you so much. Judy, could you please introduce everybody?
Okay. We are here from the Community Players of Salisbury with talented actress Robin Burns and the semi-talented actress
Oh my.
getting Cass Dasher.
All right, now, can you give us a synopsis of what you're about to perform?
Okay. Well, it's unusual in that we will have our scripts in front of us because we're sort of reading almost letters from these women and the different important parts of their lives and clothing because this is what women do. When something important happens to us, we always remember what we wore. Guys, never. So it's going to be stories about, as Robin described, women, different parts of their lives, different events that were important, and of course, clothing that's attached to it.
All right, I can't wait to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, a preview of Love, Loss, and What I Wore on the Mid-South audio stage.
I always wanted a pair of black cowboy boots. I thought they'd make me sort of rangy and taller. So one day I wandered into Walker's Western Wear and bought a pair of Nakonas. Beautiful stitching on the side, pointy toes, $250. The salesman said they'd be good for my arches. I have terrible arches.
She's obsessed with her arches.
My older sister.
She's always been obsessed with her arches.
My younger sister. About a month later, I met a guy I fell in love with, Chase. He owned 6 pairs of black cowboy boots. And as fate would have it, he was the same sexy guy I'd just seen at a party.
It was Halloween. Don't leave that out.
He had a chainsaw through his torso.
How could she resist him?
She couldn't.
She followed him to Seattle.
He invited me.
No, he did not.
One of the reasons he wanted to move west was to get away from his incredibly dysfunctional family in Connecticut. Although if I ever said his family was dysfunctional, he'd say, "Hold it right there. My family is not dysfunctional. If you want to talk about dysfunctional families, what about your family?"
What about your sisters?
What about your sisters who hate me?
Which we did.
Because of the way he treated her.
Although she let him. He couldn't have treated her that way if she hadn't let him.
We discussed it for hours.
Behind her back.
What a jerk he was.
Why is she in love with him?
Why?
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 Where was I?
His incredibly dysfunctional family.
Right. So he said,
"If you're gonna insult my family, I'm out of here."
And she said,
"Don't go. Please don't go. I love you."
I love you.
"I love you."
He was always threatening to leave.
And every time she said,
"Don't go. Please don't go."
So guess what? He stayed.
After a while, I began to suspect that he was actually in love with his family and not really with me at all. He'd go home without me, bearing gifts that I'd helped him shop for. And what I really wanted was for him to come back with the realization that he'd missed me terribly, that he loved me, that he wanted to marry me, or failing any of that, that at least someday he wanted me to meet his family. And I told him so in those very words.
and he said,
"If you're going to insult my family, I'm out of here."
and she said,
Fine.
"Isn't that amazing?"
Fine, go. Split. Who cares? And take the stinking boots with you.
And he left.
Just like that.
After 7 years and 7 horrible Christmases, at which point he owned about 12 pairs of boots. And I still own my well-oiled, well-cared-for Nakonas. He kept his childhood memories, and I left town and found a good shrink in Los Angeles.
Where we live.